So this is another hour-long chapter, so I'm not going to make it very long, but because I don't want to read an hour long. But basically, you and everyone else have a party. Congratulations, you're now the hero, not hero pillar, holy moly, the god pillar. Congratulations. You finish off your training with the rest of the two Hashiras, because these are combined into one. And I think that's it. But anyways, let's get on. The day's guidance at the wise saint's temple was cut short due to an audition that your mother wanted you to have. You had sent Agimitsa's letter quite and rapidly before fixing yourself, with the help of your caretaker, of course, and she escorted you to the Hanoa mansion. On the way there, you pondered over many things. Did she find out about Agimitsa? Did she find about Kayaka? Maybe you could say that you decided to foster and raise an orphan as your pillar and have him serve you later as a priest in the wise saint cult. With a stutter and fear eating you alive, you were slightly waiting for the car to reach your house. You called, Mother? You spoke, standing in front of the doorway that separated the hall from the second living room. She said room was mostly used as a meeting room, the main living room being used only for guests or for family gatherings, which weren't many, honestly. Please, take a seat, Yin, your mother said, a calm and soft smile in her face. Your caretaker excused herself as she closed the door once you walked inside the room. Why is your mother so tranquil? It has uneased you. She was always fighting with Katsumura or Tatsua, so she was not often in a good mood. I know you have not yet reached the age of marriage. Of course, you are barely 11 years old, but I believe it is time to consider any possible candidates. Marriage? That concerned you. It irritated you. Marriage? You asked. Indeed, your mother nodded. Once you turn 16, you will marry a man that not only will be worthy of you, but will also benefit this cult. Your heart skipped a beat. Maybe you could have Agimitsa be the one of your marriage candidates, though it would prove difficult to be someone that can provide not only a good life to you, but also honor to the Hanua family. Have you considered any men yet, Mother? You asked, smiling hopefully. I have one in mind, actually. Your mother nodded, making your smile diminish lightly, and your Agimitsa increased slowly. His name is Doma. I heard about this man from a cult, who also has been blessed by the gods, so, of course, I was interested. How so? You asked once again, trying to maintain a calm posture. He devoted almost his entire life to praying and meditating, just like you, and in exchange he received the gift of eternal life. Isn't that wonderful? Your mother exclaimed with glee. If you marry him, not only will we be granted eternal life, but a greater cult expansion will take place. You could be as powerful as an emperor, empress, and or queen. No, you couldn't marry that man. As soon as his name was mentioned, a terrible weight overwhelmed you, as if taking your breath away, and not in a tender and lovesick way. You had to stop this somehow, not only for Agimitsa, but also for you. Is there any other candidates? You asked. Not really, your mother hummed, soon frowning. Aside from that greedy and arrogant man that rules Edo. Truth be told, but I would never marry you to that. That I forbid, she exclaimed. For many years, you did your best to avoid every courting ceremony with Doma, while at the same time trying to convince your mother to look for an alternate marriage candidates. Of course, she was too stuck with you marrying Doma, so your efforts were quite in vain. You always encouraged to postpone courting ceremonies by placing Edo and their citizens first, through shrine visits, attending parties and ceremonies, or merely visiting Edo or even America, or by falling ill. Likely, it seemed like even the gods didn't want you to marry him. For whatever those 2 tricks of yours didn't work, either the climate was unfit for Domo to travel to you, or there was no time and schedule to arrange visit. So, you woke up once again, this time in a cold sweat. Really? Couldn't you find a moment of peace? You groaned and went back to sleep again. Kitty-chan, are you sure you'll be okay? Mitsuri said with worry. Yes, don't worry about it. Mitsu-chan, you smiled, your tired face quite motionless. I'll make sure to rest more time in the afternoon. The next morning, Mitsuri and you ate pancakes in your estate. Because of the flashbacks that haunted your sleep, you woke up at least 7 times that night. Reason to why you look quite bad that morning. After eating some more hours of conversation and hairdo between you two, Mitsuri was called to a mission. The pinkette nodded unsure, holding your hand and looking at you fondly. Please tell me if you ever need help with anything, all right? I will, Mitsu-chan, don't worry. You nodded. The aforementioned girl let you go of your hands and began to walk away. I'll make sure to bring us some yummy snacks for our next girl night. Sure. Farewell. You waved. Once she was out of sight, you sighed tiredly. I want to clear my mind with everything. For some reason, you always loved going to busy streets and stores. The vibrant colors and the many smells and the various objects displayed for everyone to see and for you to buy. In some cases, the people that passed by or even merely admired the many stores and or quiet cursings at how high some prices are. They were quite relaxing, perhaps because it reminded you of home or your mother. More than once your mother and you would go to extravagating restaurants or stores to buy nearly everything in sight. Of course, when shopping, your mother was taught you the value, importance, and limit of each thing, and from each time you bought, so money was never truly wasted. You reminded how your mother admired and respected every piece of clothing or object with cloth in it, or the vast knowledge on sewing or knitting techniques amazed you. She knew which pattern and mold they were for each thing, and which cloth was even sewn. She was like a child in a toy store indeed. As much as she disliked to admire it, you weren't comfortable when you lived with Tanjo. Not only because you felt like a permanent guest that knew how to do nothing, but also Tanjo's town was such a small and rural area. Now you were looking at the items in many stalls and shops, thinking about it. And most troubling issue. How were you going to break up with Tanjo? Just say, let's break up, was a blurt and unsensitive and mean. It wasn't that simple. Now, knowing Tanjo, things would get worse. How many times you gave love advice to those who sought your help. You were so cold and firm with your decision, but now? It was so easy to talk and say about others doing in trouble once you experienced the same as well. You realized how complicating it was. Only when you feel or go through and do the same thing, they have you truly know how hard it is to the local decision. As much as you wanted to put aside or pretend that the breakup was never there, you couldn't. You couldn't hide this from Kojo. You shouldn't. He was such a sweet and honest man, and he deserved such sweetness and honesty back. You had to find a way to break up with Tanjo, and soon. But you never knew that Zenitsu or Inosuke were already working on that. The refrigerator piece is quite cheap, In my opinion, it is a case of low demand. You hummed, inspecting the item in front of you. You then shrugged and walked away. It's pretty risky to waste money on expansion, but United States economy must be going through a great heft if they're recruiting to such measures. If this goes on, they will encounter a great economic depression, and they'll be one of the most effective. As you walked, you bumped into someone. The person soon yelled, "That woman attacked me!" Everyone's attention soon directed to you and the man, who was bleeding from his right hand. "How could I cut you if I carry no weapon on me?" You spoke. So you're saying that this is a lie?" said man, showing you his bleeding hand. "How can a woman cut you severely without a weapon and without anyone noticing?" You repeated. Perhaps you were already cut and you were searching a meek lady you could steal composition money from." The man seemed enraged. He raised his unharmed hand and aimed it at you. "Why, you—" As you were ready to stop his hand from hitting you, someone else stopped him. "Even a bloody hand you try to hit a lady? You are a messed up old geezer." A voice spoke. "Oh!" Sorry. A mohawk hair, purple and black clothing. In your life, you had met only one person that with the rooster-looking hairstyle. The man snatched his hand back to himself and pointed at you, with his bloody hand free now, of course. "That damn girl attacked me, and she's denying it even when I have proof." The boy looked at you. His bothered expression looked into surprise when he saw you. He blushed softly, even. His gaze was then turned at the man. "She? Without a weapon? Made a huge cut on an adult man? You gotta quit drugs, pal." Genya chuckled. "And how do you know you aren't lying?" "It's true," the man defended. "I bumped into her, and when I reached my hand into my pocket—" "Why the fuck are you trying to go into her pocket?" Genya asked darkly, everyone admiring the scene, who whispers and gasping. The monarch Hare scoffed. "Ah, so you're a street robber." Before the man could escape, 2 policemen arrived and arrested him. You turned your head to Genya, sighing in relief. "Thank you, Genya." The alpha-missional male blushed softly. It's nothing, Yin." "So you do remember me," you smiled, clasping your hands together. "And you became a demon slayer too. I'm so happy for you." "And you became a pillar already," Genya said. You blinked a few times in surprise. The boy shyly looked away, scratching the back of his head. "I heard about it." "Yeah, I got an estate in Kabushki and all that. It's pretty hectic, to be honest." You smiled, shrugging. "Wanna go to my estate? We can talk and eat there if you got free time right now." Genya nodded, his cheeks flushed red. "Thank you for helping me with my luggage, Genya-san," you said, watching the poor boy struggle to put the many boxes and things aside and take off his shoes. It's nothing," he mumbled. "Welcome back, Yin-san," Akazuki greeted, taking your luggage away and helped of 2 more Kazuki. Toki-san, can you tell, I'm going to butcher this name, Sajuno-kun to prepare another plate of food, please? You asked to the Kazuki, nodding. "Right away." "Thank you." You smiled. After that, you led Genya somewhere. "Follow me." The poor boy was a blushing mess, as he let himself be directed by you. The 2 of you reached a dining room, where you let Genya walk in first and closed the door once he was sitting down. You also sat across the small table and facing Genya. Speaking of the boy, he looked rather nervous and stiff. Some kabushki, among them Sanjiro, brought 4 of many plates of food and 2 sets of chopsticks. As they exchanged themselves, closed the door and thanked them. Genya poked his food a little before looking at you. You were smiling kindly at him, making his heart flutter soft, and he began eating. You grabbed your chopsticks not long after and also ate. "So, How long has everything after you becoming a demon slayer? You spoke, breaking the silence and hoping to ease Genya's embarrassment. He shyly slurped the minsu, bringing his shoulders closer to himself. I killed many demons and I went a lot of places, and I heard of you not long ago, he said, stuttering and stumbling between words. Yeah, that's all. It's good to know you've been doing well, you beamed, tilting your head to the side and bringing your hands together. And I'm glad we finally got to meet again. Though we met only once, I couldn't help but wonder what and how you were doing after those days. Same here. Genya quickly spoke, looking at your gleaming eyes. I saw you at the end of the selection, actually, but you seemed busy and well. Oh, that, you said, laughing a little too stunned. Are you and him? Genya asked. You went struggling. It's complicating. I see, Genya spoke, feeling awkward now. The admit was now tense. He once again looked at the table, wincing sadly. I totally fucked up, he thought. His mind soon clicked, to which he looked at you once again. How's your little brother doing? This made you recover your gloom from the gloomy moment, making you smile even. This revealed Genya. He's doing great, actually. He makes poisons and medicine with Shinobu at her estate. He's such a smart little boy now, you said dreamily. And Genya isn't my brother. He's my child. Adoptive child, kind of. It's not illegal, but still. You get it, right? Yeah, I get it. Genya nodded, laughing a bit. Now, tell me about how you've been doing. I bet you have lots to say. You nodded, smiling brightly. The day went on quite fast, much to Genya's displeasure and yours. Of course, the two of you promised not only to keep in touch via telephone, calls, or letters, but also to visit, in Genya's case. After Genya left, you had letters to write and some calls to answer. You received many gifts from not just Michiro, but also from Tokida, Tengen, and his wives, and even Hajijin. The sunbeams that enter your room through your window were soft and warm, like cotton. You got up from your futon slowly, eyes slightly opened and your mouth letting out a warm yawn. The sun's warmth that made contact with your shoulders as if hugging you constantly. Now, how temple you were just to give the morning beauty a fall and fall back into your bed once again. But no, you have work to do. You had training to do and meditation to do. And more overthinking to do. While still battling against the urge to sleep, you read yourself for a new day. Today's breakfast is amazing, you hummed happily, taking another bite of your sandwich. Wakikin-san, Yoshiro-san, and Shinjito-san, this is delicious. The three at Afameshal Kabuki smiled sheepishly, blushing at your words. You praise us too much. I just want it to be dinner already, you giggled, done with your plate and handing it to the Kujuski. 3 more servings, please. Yen-san is really taking care of herself, isn't she? Yokuru smiled, grabbing the plate. I must because of Shinagawa-san's visit. Shinjiro's, oh my god, I can't say their names again, Nod added. Your smile was now forced due to surprise. Excuse me? The wind pillar is visiting? Well, you, of course. Yukuru replied, her smile substant when she saw your dumbfounded and scared expression. You received no notice about it? Maybe because Shinagawa-san was planning to visit me tomorrow? You laughed nervously, getting up from your seat and placing your hair behind your ears with urge. Actually, he's waiting outside your estate right now. In less than a second, chaos erupted in your estate. The albino was leaning on the wooden wall of your estate, many being called it a Hanakut estate, or the poison flower estate, as a mixture between your name and your child's. Sanemi wasn't able to sleep well after that day, not only because of Igaro's constant rants about your childish and high horse attitude, but also because of your offer to visit you that day. Was it just out of courtesy, or did you really mean it? He thought many times of dropping by, but you always seemed too busy with parties or outings, as if you never had a care in the world. Anywho, whether it was good or bad, Sanemi was now outside your state. Yes, without telling you about it. He wanted to see how you truly acted behind the scenes. How surprised he was to see your kabuki working since early morning, so organized and effective to even the smallest details. More than once of your kabuki caught a glimpse of him, which either scared them or they didn't mind. But once he heard the loud and rowdy noises in your estate, he knew you finally acknowledged his presence. Shinagawa-san! Sanemi heard a female call. As he turned to his right, he saw a well-dressed you. Though your face read stress and you were panting and sweating because of his sudden appearance, you looked decent. It was fun for Sanemi to see you so distressed. It would make a good routine for him. You quickly rushed to Sanemi's side, bowing a dozen times and apologizing another dozen times. I should have noticed you earlier. I left you waiting for so long, and out here, no less. I'm so sorry about it. Sanemi looked at you with a glare. Why were you apologizing? He was the one who didn't say a thing and almost barged in. Annoying. Please, come in, you said, getting Sanemi out of his judging thoughts and just gestured to your house. You then looked at your kabuki. Please, prepare snacks and tea for two. Shinagawa-san, I forgot to ask, what tea do you like? I'm not here for a tea party, kid. I'm only here because your breathing technique and all that, the albino replied, making you sigh a little. We'll have matcha tea then. As well as some mochi and konopito. You told the Kazuki. They nodded and walked away. You looked at Sanemi. Please follow me. Please, pardon the mess. Sanemi and you entered your house, and you directed him somewhere. Said male glanced around with curiosity. There wasn't any extravagant decorations nor expensive things on site. Everything was decorated with small and simple things that gave the house a tranquil and cozy vibe. Pardon the mess, my ass, Sanemi thought. This place is clean as shit. Expected someone else from an ex-member of high society, you said, chuckling a little as an odd expression. He quickly looked at you, confused, composing yourself. You smiled absolutely at him. It's fine. I'm not much of a materialistic. I must spend my money on food or house expensive. Sometimes I get too carried away and go all out shopping, but it's a guilty pleasure of mine. I thought I would get to see more kazuki around, Sanemi spoke. Everyone knew that more than a dozen of those guys asked to work for you. Many of them got way too comfortable with me, and when they saw what it truly meant to work for me, they quit. You hummed. The ones that remain know that, though I'm friendly and kind, I expect them to not overstep boundaries and actually want to work for me. I see. Sanemi mumbled. You slid open the door and wait for Sanemi to go in, yet he simply stared at you. It got kind of awkward quite fast, yet Sanemi was the one to break the tension. Ladies go first. You blink a few times before realizing hit you and made you laugh. Well, guests are supposed to go first. What are we going to do about this? Sanemi's face felt a bit warm and itchy, but was he blushing? Was it a faltering frown and a nerve composure? The wind pillar placed a hand on your back and motioned you inside. Leave formalities aside and get in. Who's being formal now? You sighed, still smiling as you sat down. Sanemi sat down too, the small table dividing you two. Not long after, two kabuki excused themselves as they entered the room and left a set of tea and snacks. Once you thanked them, they both bowed and hesitantly left, closing the door. I never grew tired of matcha tea, you hummed happily, holding your cup with both hands. Sanemi looked at you and then his own cup. Hesitantly, he took a small sip. His eyes gleamed up. Not too sweet, nor too bitter. It was pretty good. He was quite a fan of matcha tea, but he never tasted a tea as soft and tasty as this one he was drinking now. Well, you spoke. Getting Sanemi out of his thoughts, you drank some of your tea before neatly setting the cup on the table. Something tells me that you like getting straight to the point, so I'll do so. Sanemi nodded, also placing his empty cup on the table. My breathing style contains many attacks that grant me the upper hand, and the one I use on Igaro and you being no different, you exclaimed. Though it will be surprising you to know that most of the victories is decided on my training. It is necessary to have a composed figure and so quickly read my openings and possible weaknesses. So, combining steadiness and concerned with my breathing, I use my posture's fifth form, Hajijin's blessing. Hajijin as the god of war? Sanemi asked. You nodded. It might sound too unbelievable and even quite foolish to even give help by Hajijin himself, but well, given the name that everyone been calling me before, I was even born pretty much clarity and justice, the reason why. He spoke, sipping another sip of tea. Besides, I told by my cloiver that it would be a big damn waste to go after another breathing style when I have the gods' help with me. Not only do I waste time training a style that doesn't fit me, but I also risk my life. Didn't know you curse. Sanemi chuckled almost in a scoff. I don't, you said sternly. The albino smiled. I don't like to swear, and I don't like it when people do so, even less when you're talking to me. Sadly, Kayaka does. But I'll make sure to correct him before things get worse. You haven't even said a swear word, not even once in your life? Sanemi asked in disbelief. You shook your head, still a serious face. What about when you're mad or stressed? Not even once, you replied. It is said that the tongue is powerful, that our words hold power. We can bless and we can curse. We can bring smiles or even can bring tears. Yes, I have heard cuss words before. I mean, not like the gods or I censor them, but I've never cursed before. I can't imagine under how many stress and pursue you are right now, he hissed. A lot. But there's another topic, you said. Anything less you want to know, aside from how I easily defeated two pillars? Why so aggressive all of a sudden? Sanemi said in an angry tone. I'm not. It's just a question. You crossed your arms, a small playful smirk tempting you to appear. How many times have you talked to others with that level of sass? The wind pillar said, tilting oh so dimly closer to you. Many, you replied, smirking dimly. You're no saint, then, he said, crossing his arms and raising an eyebrow. How can I be not a saint when I'm saying the truth? You retorted, smiling proudly. Those who get offended to do so because of their own malice, as they said so, if the shoe fits. They're more than just a couple charms and fancy words, Archant, Sanemi said with a small laugh. Finally, someone who notices. You laughed as well. After some seconds, you eased your laughter and looked at Sanemi with a smile. So, for reals this time. Anything else you want to know? Well, since you put it like that, Sanemi said, scratching his arms before eating one of the snacks, specifically the origiri. Tell me about you. Me? You puzzled? Yeah, you. Sanemi replied, eating more snacks. Like, what do you like and all that? Well, I can say I'm not a fan of people that talk with their mouth full, that's for sure. You say, raising an eyebrow. Sanemi blushed in embarrassment and slight anger as he swallowed his food. I'm being serious. I am so. You said between small laughs. Well, where should I start? Come on, if your headbutting boyfriend never asked you about what you liked before. Actually, he never did. You said apologetically, trailing off. Nor not I remember. What a stable and happy couple you two are, Sanemi scoffed, tilting backwards a bit. A relationship must be based on mutual respect and trust, and dating someone is a way to know the person better. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, then move on. You said, erupting the albino. You grin as you tilt your head a little. For being the wind pillar, you're pretty knowledgeable on this topic. What's that supposed to mean? Shinagawa asked, with a small glare. So, I like shopping and candy also, you begin to say, making Sanemi irk with slight anger. So now you're talking? Sanemi was now cussing and growling as he headed back home with a box of erigari and tea leaves inside. Once you made him talk more than he was accomplished to, well, he even enjoyed being there. You were so open and understanding, always having something to say. You had Sanmi feel comfortable and even less stress. No wonder so many people seeked to talk to you. The most part was that he agreed to meet with you again. Is this supposed to be a one-time thing? There is no escaping your kindness, it seems. The hell there isn't, Sanemi groaned, munching on the origami aggressively. I'll visit her again, but not only know about her breathing style. I'm so glad to be here again, Mitsuri said happily, eating another slice of pizza. There's though there's a little problem, Mitsuri smiled into a pout. You're just as tired and messy as I left. In front of Mitsuri, a tired and disheveled yin sat. She was eating pizza with a great enthusiasm, yet her face and appearance read stress and emotion. I was visited by Sanemi yesterday morning without him telling me in advance, he excused, sighing between praises. And then Tundra kept calling me and sending me letters until I replied either, telling him I was okay, and then at sundown, I went to run into the forest and redeem demons, and then ran back home, and it was midnight by then, and I ate a few snacks, had letters to reply. Stop! Just by telling me I'm getting tired, Mitsuri whined, laying on the table. She then sat up. By the way, have you gotten any letters from Rengoku-san? Yesterday I got one, along with a pink carcinus and red bean bun, you said, smiling. Love is so sweet, Mitsuri giggled before wincing around. When are you breaking up with Mr. Worry-a-lot? You can't go on like this unless you're into it. No, you quickly defended yourself. You then sighed. I haven't found the chance to do so with Tundra yet, and I want to tell him in person. Sending a breakup letter is too cowardly, in my opinion. Well, as long as it's over, Mitsuri shrugged once again. She rested on the table. Can we go shopping now? Mitsu-chan, it's like 10 a.m. right now. You deadpanned. It's the perfect time to go makeup hunting, Mitsuri said. Besides, I bet you're running low on rice powder. Rice powder. So we ought to get you some more.